from the YouTube, this is Robbie speaking, and you guys are probably noticing something really different about me. Is it my hair? Is my hair different? Did I get a haircut or something? Well, no. So, for this video, we are going to talk about Star Wars The Bad Batch, the new animated series that just came out on Disney+. I just watched the season premiere, and it's just on the season premiere of the first season of The Bad Batch, because I feel like I should talk about this just on its own, and then maybe talk about what I liked about it and my expectations for later this season. So this is a spoiler review, so I'm going to talk about some spoilers and go from there. So this was a great season premiere, though. Like a great season premiere for any type of Star Wars animated show. I mean, Clone Wars had a decent one. I mean, yeah, the Clone Wars movie wasn't the best way to do it. I mean, it wasn't the best way to premiere the series. I mean, then there was the premiere of the first season, which was okay. I mean, it didn't start off the Clone Wars with a bang, but still. Then you had Star Wars Rebels, which didn't start off with a bang either, but, I mean, it started off, decently, I guess. I'm afraid to watch Star Wars Resistance, so, yeah. So I can't really say anything on that. But Star Wars The Bad Batch really started off really, really strong, though. So what is it about, though? I mean, for those of you who have already seen it, you already know what it's about, though. The Bad Batch, of course. But it takes place, like, right after Revenge of the Sith and, of course, the series finale of the Clone Wars. So, The Bad Batch had just gone through the whole Order 66 ordeal, the destruction of the Jedi Order and everything. And now the clones are basically serving the Empire. The Republic is becoming the Empire now. And the Bad Batch don't know where their places are in the galaxy, like where their lives go from there. What I like about this, though, is the animation. Like, the animation is just really, really improving, though. I think it's a tiny bit better than the last season of Clone Wars. This just feels like, hey, we're upping our game a bit, though, and we're gonna add a higher budget to this series. They are not afraid to add some money into this. They're not afraid to put some more effort into this, though. Really enjoyed it. I think the action is pretty good as well, though, especially in the beginning, though. And I'll talk more about the beginning later, too, as well, though. Clone Wars is just about every single character. I mean, you had certain characters that had their own story arcs. This show, however, this is about the Bad Batch themselves. Sure, they had their own story arc in the last season, but that was just like an appetizer. This is the main dish right here, though. Like, this entire series, The Bad Batch, our first experience with The Bad Batch, but we see them change a bit, though. Especially Crosshair. Wow, just seeing Crosshair change to where he was to where he is now. It's just really just blows my mind away, though. And I'll talk about that more in a moment. But I mean, some of the other characters, I mean, still act the same, though. I mean, you can't change that quickly. What was I gonna say? Homewrecker. He's still the same nutty, knuckleheaded meathead who just wants to smash droids. Echo is still, got to know Echo the most since we've seen him since season 1, but he's still kind of the same sort of when we saw him last in the Clone Wars. Tech is still like the really smart dude who's always trying to figure stuff out and just answering questions, theories, and everything. Hunter is still a leader type, but despite this being about the Bad Batch, we still see some familiar faces like Saw Gerrera, Tarkin, who else? Kanan. I mean, you see these characters. I mean, and even though this is about the Bad Batch, I mean, these characters still fit the show pretty well, though. I mean, as long as it makes sense, though, and it doesn't become a plot hole, it makes really good sense for them to be there, to fit in, how they impact the Bad Batch. Now, before I get into the rest of this video, I'm just going to say, for those of you who don't know who Kanan or Caleb Doom, basically Caleb Doom, this pattern right here, basically he grows up to be Kanan Jarrus, who is one of the 6 main characters in Star Wars Rebels. So I won't spoil what happens in Star Wars Rebels with Kanan / Caleb Doom. So if you want to see more of that, of Caleb Doom, go watch Star Wars Rebels. But either way, I'm still going to talk about this entire moment, because this was my favorite part, the first 10 minutes, when Kanan showed up. I mean, I was pretty much surprised when it was mentioned in, like, the title narration that, I think that's what you call the title narration, when Kanan's master was going to be seen and then we had Kanan, and then the Bad Batch, and this was the moment where they weren't holding back. This is when they're like, okay, we're gonna start off dark in this series, so let's show you how we do it. And I just felt bad for, of course I felt bad for Kanan because he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know who to trust, even though Hunter was like, hey, just come with me. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I'm just as confused and shocked as you are, but just come with me. Well, I mean, Kanan, he doesn't know what to do, though. I mean, he just ran off. I mean, and that's, even though I trusted Hunter, even though I trust Hunter with Kanan, it's still the right decision that Kanan made, because still, though, I mean, you had Crosshair shooting at him, plus you had all the other clones going after him, so it was probably best that way that Kanan ran off on his own. But of course, there are other great moments in this first episode. For example, the introduction to Omega, the female clone, the newest member of the Bad Batch. Omega is a pretty interesting character, though. I mean, we already kinda speculated that she was a female clone, so we weren't really surprised at all when it was revealed. But her introduction is still pretty interesting, though. Just Omega is pretty much kinda similar to how Ahsoka was first introduced, or how Ezra was first introduced. Like, she kind of fits that role of, like, the newcomer in an animated show. But what makes her different from those characters, though, is that she kind of feels not too immature, though. I mean, she doesn't really... I mean, yeah, she's curious. She's pretty much a learner. I mean, it was her first time in space, but she doesn't really seem like that immature. She seems a bit, I would say, maybe a bit mature. I mean, I guess maybe it's because, like, she's always hanging around that one Kaminoan doctor. I think her name's Nella. I forget her name, though. But you guys already have an idea of who I'm talking about. I guess maybe that's why she has a bit of a mature side to her. I mean, I think she's a bit more mature than Homewrecker, but nah, she's a pretty cool character. And the question that I have about her, though, is that who is she going to grow up to be? Like, where is she during the original trilogy? Like, Star Wars Rebels and all that. Like, who is she going to grow up to be? Is she just going to be... Is she going to be joining the rebellion later? Or is she just going to just live a quiet life? Keep a low profile? She's the one character in this show that I'm curious about the most, though. But I'm interested, though. I'm curious to see what path she goes on. And then we have Crosshair, who's pretty much going to be the main antagonist of this first season. I mean, kind of similar to how the Grand Inquisitor was the main antagonist in the first season of Star Wars Rebels. That's the same vibe I get with Crosshair. So how is he going to make the stakes higher for the Bad Batch and all that? Because he knows how they work and everything. So he pretty much has an idea on how to track them down and everything. So, but I'm just curious to see how he's going to do it. And I was just really shocked that he stayed. Though some people did make theories that he was going to stay with the Empire. I didn't believe it at first until this. When they, like, kind of enforced that chip more in his head to get him to obey orders. I was just like, no, Crosshair. Like, I really felt the betrayal. Well, I mean, I guess it's sort of betrayal that what Crosshair is doing, but at the same time, I mean, he can't really help it. Had they not enforced that chip in his head, he would have gone with them. He would have ran away with the Bad Batch. But no, he's forced to stay behind and obey orders. Nothing really bad's going to happen to Crosshair later. Either he'll die, or he'll realize that the Empire's not his way, and that maybe he'll go a separate path or whatever. I think that's pretty much it for this first impression. My only complaint with it, though, is that I wish we got a bit of violence. And what I mean by that, though, is that I know it's sad when we see characters die and getting shot and all that, but if you're going to show a character getting killed, don't censor it, though. Make sure it's on screen, because in the beginning, when Kanan's master was getting shot down, they kind of, they just showed her losing her lightsaber, and then that's it, though. You just already assume that she's dead. And sure, we already know that, but we just like Star Wars violence, though. Clone Wars didn't hold back, but Star Wars Rebels did. And I'm worried that the Bad Batch might fall in that direction that the Rebels did, though. I just don't want that at all. So please make sure that the Bad Batch is just as violent as the Clone Wars, please. But that's pretty much it, though. Everything else was great, though. And I cannot wait for more, though. I mean, I already saw the second episode. It was good. It was good. I mean, of course it wasn't better than the first episode, but it was good. And I cannot wait for more, because we're getting a total of 16 episodes. And it's going to be a bummer that, Each episode's probably going to be like over 20 minutes long, but hey, at least we're getting something. I'm excited for it, and hopefully you guys are excited for it as well, though. Like, what did you guys think of this first episode? Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know your thoughts down below, though, on what do you think is going to happen next and everything like that, though. I am going to give this a 9 out of 10 because it deserves it, though. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe so that way you get more videos like this every time I upload. I'm Rob A, and may the anime force be with you.